Is that better? Was I muted? That's embarrassing. Always something, guys. Always something. There you go. Yeah, I'm glad. Sorry about that, guys. Well, yeah, I was saying we're here at a new 15K stream. Now it's meta, because I was talking about how I will respond to some questions I already answered yesterday, but of course yesterday my phone got overheated and the stream was aborted. And the funny thing was how I talked about how even though that video is gone, I'm gonna have to actively try to take the question seriously now, because it feels like I already answered them, right? And now immediately I mute myself and I get kind of the same thing, that I have to repeat myself, what I thought I just saw. Good morning, the void. And just wait a little bit here, just to see some more. We want to be in the double digits at least before we get, before I get to the pre-collected questions. Internet Explorer, you are lucky to live near a forest. Being close to nature is really important. Oh yeah, I sure am. Like, I have visions about living somewhere else. Well, maybe with someone else, in the future, like Greece. Yeah, and in general, I'd like to not live in a city. Hopefully, probably, it always depends on the entire situation you find yourself in. But here, like I live, for living in a city, I live in the best spot. It's like a little secluded, close to the forest. It's like on the edge. So it's the city, but very close to, of course, it's not like full on nature either. Like this forest, when you go in, there will be some like sounds in the distance, like from cars and stuff. It's not that complete stillness and quietness, but still though, it's great, of course. Alphonse says, yo, Theo, congrats on 15K. Thanks, man. Appreciate it. It's incredible, guys. 5 years for the first 5K, 1K per year, and then triple that in 2 months. That's basically what we're looking at here. Void. Well, before we get there, I just want to say thank you for your mindset videos. They've recently helped me get out of a dark place. Well, I'm happy, man. Please, while I'm gonna, at some point, when I just see that we're more people, I'm gonna get to my pre-collected questions here, but I'm gonna get back to the chat. So, I'm glad you say that, but is it a particular video you like? So something like a phrase or something that was extra helpful? And is there any other kind of video? You say you've been in a dark place. Like, is there a certain kind of video you'd be looking for? Because, that's just great. I've been thinking to myself lately, you can always tell when you're creative, like me. It's actually, one of the questions I have is about how I come up with ideas. And it is, of course, especially when you're not like purely educational. Like, I will talk about training and stuff, but philosophical, then what you talk about in videos will be very influenced just by how you're feeling in life, what you are thinking about, Still though, it's great to get outside input to trigger certain ideas. So yeah, and so lately I have been thinking that I want to make what I love to hear, guys. Like, of course, you don't have to be in a dark place or depressed for it to be that way. But what I love to hear when people are like, "Oh, I have you when I go on my walk. I have you your videos when I'm in the car or when I train." But also this, like that's because I've had people that I follow that have been my company, but also helped me out of dark places, So I think it's really cool to get to be that to other people. But what I'm saying is, especially with mental health stuff and that, it's good to hear what people, input from other people. Oh yeah, that's right. I can look at the chat here. Framebite, the Volcel video did it for you. How do you mean with that it did it for me? Like, what do you mean by that? Brian Rios, bro, I watched you not too long ago after binging some self-improvement videos. You are a very legit human, and my soul thanks you profoundly for your advice. You're very emotionally intelligent. Well, I appreciate that, Brian. I feel seen by you right now. But I'm glad, you know, you think so. I'm glad the advice has been helpful, it seems like. So I appreciate that a lot, man. Dolph, I'm jealous of your perfectly intact hairline. Yeah, I'll admit that my hair, it's genetic. Like, I have thick hair. But what I'll say is, I definitely have noticed it has such great quality now compared to what it used to be when my habits were poor. Like, if you see, it's like I had the same amount of hairs before. They were just much poorer quality. But so the hairline I would have had either way. Yeah, but you know, it's like you work with what you have, you know. So yeah, I'm happy about my hair. But if you have too thin hair, I would just embrace a beautiful, shining, bald head, you know. Frame by made your channel blow up, but that's not true though. It's not my Volcel video that made the channel blow up. It's what being ripped taught me about women. That one, of course, talked about because I was starting to move towards that path. Like when I made that video, what can it have been? I had not slept with a girl in like half a year, 6-7 months or something. It must have been. And so I started to move towards the Volcel mindset. And then I made the decision though. So I was, during the celibacy time that included the Volcel time, I was there, but I had just not like mentally decided that that's what I'm doing, you know. Because it was that time when I was like, I was confused about this, you know. Okay, girls are sending me nudes, some like, yeah, I clearly could hook up with more girls now, but I'm also not as interested in it. I'm like, I'm not used to living this way, you know. Here we have 20 people. I'll just talk to you a little bit. Are you a Christian? We'll get back to that. Void, mindset training for personal growth. It was your message about how your outside is a reflection of your inside that got my attention. Yeah. The world is not as it is as you are, right? It's like when you are in a certain state, on a certain frequency, that's what you see and experience in the outside world mainly, you know, and the opposite. So yeah, as above, so below. Ni hittar din kanal tack vare algon. Du pratar om resonera med mig. Okay, Hills, I'm glad the videos resonate, but we speak English on the streams, in the chat, for the sake, you know, of it being inclusive to everyone. Void, yes, and you raise your frequency video. I'm glad you like that one, man. Your state is everything, right? Okay, guys, please go on. I'm gonna get to questions in the chat as well. I'll stop if I see a super chat. I'll stop and answer to that. But now I'm gonna go to the pre-collected questions I have. So yeah, let's just go through the basics. That this has been a funny thing, getting a taste of what having a like bigger following is like, even though it isn't huge yet. But some questions, how many times you get asked them, you know. So like the stream, guys, please like if you haven't. But I'm 31 years old. Okay, I'm 177 centimeters tall, so that's 5'10". It runs up to 5'10". Okay, I weigh 84 kilos currently, and I have trained for 6 years. So I started when I was 25, or like 6 years in 1 month, really. I'm Swedish. I am natural. Yes. Yes, I am aware of the golden one. I do know about the golden one. So that's it for those basic little things. And someone asked, well, primary diet of red meat, cheese, Greek yogurt, and bread. I guess he asks, well, eating this mainly. What do I think about that? I think I would prefer something other than bread, like potatoes, because I think the bread won't be great for your gut after a long time. But it's kind of like, this all depends on the context. If this is simple for you to follow, and you're also training and sleeping well and doing everything you should, it's like, it's not a terrible diet. I would just prefer something other than bread. But that's it. Same guy as working out with a shoulder injury. So this is one thing. I talked a lot about this yesterday because, you know, it's so general. A shoulder injury, impingement, like that, there's... even if it's an impingement, there are many different things, you know. Like, it's like avoid what hurts, like gives you sharp pain, but can you work the same muscle using slightly different movements? You know, look for movements that work. Like for instance, I'll give this example. When I completely destroyed my shoulder the first time, from the start, the only movement I could find that worked for chest was a high to low cable fly. So I would just spam like 6 sets on a push workout of cable flies. And then later on, I noticed that, okay, I can't do barbell presses yet. It hurts to it sharply here. But with a dumbbell, it seems like when I can move more freely, dumbbells work. So I did dumbbells for a long time, you know. Then I did little rehab exercises, both that I would use a trigger ball to kind of roll, just a very tight area, allow for more blood flow there. Then just do high rep stuff. And why do people always start texting you when you go live? Yeah, some high rep stuff, but mainly, you know, working around the injury. And when I came back 9 months later, when the shoulder didn't hurt anymore, I could hit the personal best on the bench. Stop spamming me, please. It's like, why? It's like, oh, let's check Theo's schedule. Okay, he's going live at 5. Well, I'll wait till then. Then I'll text him. Okay, but yeah, so you see, you work around the injury. You just because you can't do exactly what you could pre-injury doesn't mean that you can't do anything. Listen to your body and do what works. Like the stream, guys. Someone asks, what would you recommend to someone who doesn't have high enough testosterone but doesn't want to take TRT, of course? Is there really a way to increase naturally, and does it matter a lot for your gains? So I like that last thing, you know, because this is the curse of knowledge too. That now that you're aware that you can have a testosterone number, is my high high enough? Could I be doing better if it was higher? It's like, yes, testosterone is related to gains, but like I made a point in my video, gains are also related to testosterone. It goes both ways, and it's not that it's impossible to build muscle just because, you know, your testosterone maybe could be higher. So if it isn't high enough, you want it higher, the basics, the absolute basics are training at a high intensity. Stop spamming me, please. Oh my God, stop spamming me. Oh my God. Where were we? Training hard at a high intensity, eating good nutrition, you know, your animal fats and proteins, eggs, steak, liver, why not, you know, starchy carbs and some fruits, honey, and sleep well and be outside and get sunlight. These are the things you want to like dose yourself with. And then, you know, stress levels, of course, keep them down. And then all these little things that we could avoid, microplastic stuff, you know, like all these things. But mainly, those 4 are cornerstones. And then just be consistent with it, do it over a long time. Then the question is, what is a typical day's menu for you, and how much time do you spend working out a day? So a typical day's menu, really, if you go to the video Build Your Fitness Diet 101, I pretty much give my daily menu there, which, yeah, it's like now I've stopped cutting, right? And I'm not really bulking, I'm sort of maintaining, but I want, if anything, I want to eat a little bit more so I can make some progress. Just I'm not like pushing food like that. But so compared to when I was cutting, it's just that I've added back some rice to my 6 eggs with honey and salt and a carrot in the morning. I have some white rice with that now. Typically for lunch I have potatoes or rice with some beef patties and a carrot again. I have my protein yogurt. There's a video on the protein yogurt, and there's a Fitness Diet 101. But then now, when I'm a little bit more free, I just throw some random stuff in. I move quite a bit right now, right? So I drink a lot of juice again now. I bought this, what is that even called, that like fruit in English? Dates. I bought some dates that I eat, and so I eat a little bit more. But then that's like a typical day's menu. Question. This is the thing I didn't quite understand yesterday. Can you do the things you do in the long run? I really like the whole if it goes, it goes approach. Går det så går det. I am somewhat of an experimental and progressive person myself. So I mean, what I talked about yesterday is like, can you do the things you do in the long run? It's like, of course I can't literally do the exact same thing forever. So time, chronological age is just one part of aging, right? Lifestyle influences the way you age, but you do age. And I can tell in many ways, because I was in such poor shape when I started training, I feel better and younger, but I can also feel some differences that, like, my body doesn't feel bad. I can just feel like, yeah, you know, it's not, while I can do a lot and influence a lot and heal a lot, the life isn't infinite on anything here, you know. So I think I can do what I do in the long run, just, you know, decrease it. Like I said yesterday, I think in 20 years I still want to lift heavy and have a good physique, but maybe I'm fine with not, like, that my peak is gone, that I don't have to push and try to be the biggest and strongest I can anymore. Probably just maintain and have decent levels there, you know, and shift the focus. So, you know, I think I can do what I do in the long run, just transform it a bit, but I won't even want to do it the exact same way, right? Yeah, this one, sure. Do you do steroids? Not meaning disrespect. I don't, okay? And I never will. It's so like, that's also, it's an incredible change with having more fame, I guess, you know. You're seeing people in different places, even when I've seen when they, like, share memes of me, like screenshots of my thumbnails and you know, funny titles, you know. People, like, just blatant, they talk as if it's obvious that I'm on gear in the comments, and it's just a weird thing to get used to, like, well, some people just they see a completely false reality about you and talk as if it's the truth, you know. What exercises do you do / are best for ab size in bodybuilding? So, I mean, right now, I do an ab machine in the gym, because it happens to, you lift your legs too. And with my hip injury, you know, some of the hip flexors and lower abs, they have synergistic functions and that. So I really like direct core like that. I mostly do that. But then it's just, you know, you see that I have a big chunky midsection. It's like from doing so much heavy compound works, like all the squats, deadlifts, front squats, searcher Jefferson curls, you know, shoulder presses, like all these unilateral movements too, you know, like split squats and all these things. Doing so many of all these things throughout the entire week, it hits the core well. But then for ab size, the only thing on top of that, and that I have done but not in a while, I paused it first when I hurt my hip there. But some, just, you know, approach the abs like any muscle, you know. What do the abs do? They flex the spine like this, you know. And then you can preferentially target the upper abs a little bit by having more of a top-down movement, and preferentially target the lower abs having a bottom-up movement, like a leg raise, you know. So it would be fine to just have one of them, but these would be the most important movements, you know, some kind of weighted crunching movement. If you have like a decline bench, and you can hold the weight, and you can increase the weight you hold, and then just work in the like 8 to 20 rep range. You know, you don't have to go all the way up to 20, but you could. What I'm saying is, what people do wrong with abs sometimes is you just go through some little circuits, you know, make it burn, but you have to progressively overload. Approach it as a compound, you know. And then you can do hanging leg raises the same, and you can do different, if you don't have wrist weights or something, you know, it goes a long way to just have straight legs and lift them. But you can hold something, you can hold a ball between your feet, something like that, to progressively overload it. There's also a good one, it's called the reverse squat, when you put like these wrist cuff cable attachments to your feet, and then lie on the ground and lift your knees. It's going to target the hip flexors a little bit more, but it's still lower abs too. But the thing would be just like, you can do many different exercises, just that you have to approach them like you would any other exercise, you know. And then you could do something for the sides too, and that would be like something, either side bends. I like to do those in the hyperextension, you know, machine. You could do wood chopper rotations too, but I'll go on and not talk too much about that. I do have the six-pack abs complete guide video, you know. It's an older one before the channel blew up more, but it's good. The information is there, you know. When fasting for at least a few days, are you not concerned about potential muscle loss? You do it for cutting fats, but muscle can also decrease in prolonged fasting. It's funny, it's so funny they phrase, like it's like I'm being informed, as if I'm just missing the fact that, I'm doing it for fat loss, but you could lose muscle. But you don't really, is the point. And the thing is, guys ask me about this a lot, and I can just give you, make you feel a little bit better about it. But if you have built muscle and you're afraid of losing it, you're going to be afraid of losing it when you fast. That's the thing with fears. You don't overcome fears without facing them and seeing for yourself they weren't true. So in my case, I listened to Cole Robinson, Snake Diet, who said that you didn't lose muscle. And he's like a jacked dude. And he obviously was fasting and it didn't seem like he was losing muscle. So I trusted him. But I was still worried about it because I had my hard-earned gains, right? Then I fasted so many times and I've never noticed that I lost any muscle. So yeah, no, I'm just not afraid of it. As long as you train and eat protein when you're not fasting and you're not doing something super aggressive with the fasting, no, it's not really a thing. I don't even know. Oh yeah, so it's San Pellegrino, the water, but with juice from I don't know what you call that in English, if you really say a blood orange, do you say that? But yeah, it is orange juice and blood orange juice in this. So one guy asked a not very serious question, and I said that I maybe answer it if he asks a serious question, and he did, but I don't know that he cares really. But how important is direct tibialis anterior training to long-term pain-free, healthy knee ability? So the tibialis anterior is the muscle opposing the calf, so on the front of your lower leg, and it how do you call that? It dorsiflexes the wrist, so the calf pushes the toes down, but you lift the toes up with the tibialis, and so it attaches over the knee joint too. And it's from knees over toes guy mainly. It's become quite popular to train the tibialis to bulletproof the knees, but the shins in general, the wrist too. Do you say ankle, by the way? Maybe ankle you say in English, but around the foot there. And yeah, how important it is. It's like, it's individual. Someone can probably never have problems there and never train it, but it's a low-hanging fruit, to train. So the fast ones is because I can't show it quite now, but if you lean against the wall and stand on your heels and just lift your toes, that works as a body weight exercise, and it's the more difficult the further out you go with your heels. And you could also sit and have a kettlebell on your toes, have it outside the bench and do one foot at a time, racing there. And yeah, how important is hard to say, but it's a good way to bulletproof the shins and knees. Yeah. And then he asked, would you rather have a human body and a dog head, or a dog body and a human head? Your adoring fans need to know the answer to this very important question. Because what I told him when he asked this once before is that it's hard for me to get into completely just bullshit made up scenarios. It's like, well, that's not going to happen anyway. Like if I'm going to give an theoretical scenario, can it at least be something that it could happen, But I gotta pick the human head, I guess, right? I mean, because I become an idiot dog. Otherwise, like, I love dogs, but I mean, I would lose a lot of I would go to a much more primitive consciousness, I would think, if I get the brain of a dog. So I think I gotta go with a human head. It's fun too. Then I get to try what the physique. Like, who would pick the dog head now that I think about it? But yeah, there you go. I picked the human head and dog body. It's like, do I get to pick the dog also? Like a big, strong dog, a wolf-like dog with my head up there. How necessary is direct abdominal training for visible oblique definition. It's like, you know, of course it would help, but you know, this entire side here, it's again, I feel like the obliques for me, I have trained them directly too. I did like a block when I started training the neck and calves more seriously. You know, I also did ab work more seriously and a core, like the sides. But you know, I saw development there before, and it's like the obliques, especially the sides from compounds. You know, they do anti-rotation, like the abs. The abs, they're actually like six-pack muscles, you know. They don't always work that hard on compounds. On some they do though, like searcher squats and front squats, like positions with the bar in front of you generally actually works the abs. But the obliques though, they do anti-rotation, you know, and anti-side flexion when you move through these big movements. So, you know, it's to take it to the next level. And I must say, you know, a lot of pressing and stuff, you know, it's the okay, I'm not sitting in so good lighting here now, but the serratus, you know, these muscles, like these would pop in a different lighting, you know, but they kind of overlap with obliques there. And so you know, so much I feel like this, the core, you can work it directly to improve it, and especially if it's like a weak, you're under muscled, you know. But generally, if you work your full body, you know, the core is right there in the middle, you know, it's going to be involved in so many things. So like you getting bigger and stronger, it's like impossible to not improve the core as well. And then like individually, like I'm probably someone that doesn't need all that much extra ab work, but I like to maximize stuff. So I've done it still, you know, while someone else might need more. But you see what I mean? Everyone should be able to do some development from like their like full body training, the way they train their entire body with big movements, and then it's going to be a little bit individual how much extra work do you dose, you know. Thoughts on ditching flat pressing movements and just going pure incline on all. The upper chest lags, but the middle and lower seem to get enough activation from incline work. So yeah, you know, to me it's just kind of like, why do we have to ditch all flat movements? But yes, prioritizing, I do on my push day, that was today actually. My first exercise has been the incline bench variations. Now I do a close grip and past, but it is the incline angle. And it is because the upper chest, I think it's more important to, you know, this area. When you look at men, you will see that there's something going on here, even on the guy that doesn't train, but here it's going to be completely empty. So just making the upper chest a priority, I think is good, but it doesn't mean like on my workout today, for instance, like the chest exercises. Now my workout is also a little adjusted to support the muscle up, but incline bench is the first like more chest exercise. Then it's a neutral machine, you know, where the hands go together. That could have been a dumbbell press too, for instance. But then it's more at this angle. It's like a dip machine, but I do one arm at a time because I can full stack it for like 30 reps if I do both, but also it will assist the muscle up, and it's actually a weakness for my left. But so I'm saying don't ditch flat pressing, but it totally makes sense to focus, put more emphasis on the upper chest. Okay, what is the girlfriend situation? Someone asked. Okay, I talked about this a little bit on streams recently. The situation is that officially I'm single. You know, there's this girl I love and I've been involved with for a long time. See, I smile. I'm so relaxed about the entire thing, guys, because it's kind of like that thing. You know, I wanted to work out, but it's like it's kind of I have to for now leave it open for her to find her way back to me, basically. But we talked recently, and I'm optimistic about that. And she knows what I'm telling you guys now. She's aware of it too. And I think we're in a situation when she kind of knows that she has had some things in her life. You know, we're in a long distance relationship, so it's complicated for many reasons. But she's had some things to sort out. And she has kind of known that, well, Theo will wait, but he's not like desperately waiting, just sitting and forever waiting. He is just not actively chasing others, but, you know, like I say, that's how I kind of have to approach it. Like, I'm single. I don't go out dating girls looking for it or something, but can be tied down, right? So there is a girl I love, hopefully work out. It's like, you can see that I'm not troubled by it, but officially I'm single right now. So I have 4 questions left of the pre-collected ones, and then I'll go through the chat. Like the stream if you haven't, guys. Maybe send a super chat. Celebrate 15K with me. Support the channel. So yes, this guy asked, how do you get ideas for YouTube videos? And then how do you not care what people think? So how I get ideas for YouTube videos? Well, you know, it's like inspiration, you know, comes from impression, learning, you know, realizing things. And so I'm always working on myself, and I have these little revelations and stuff. I'm also working on other people, like with other people, like coaching and training. And of course, when I just talk to other people. But, you know, I am trying to teach people. I know that, like, it's a lot, I think, with coming up with video ideas. You have to know what is kind of my overall mission here, you know. If I'm a genuine actor, right? If I'm not just like, oh, what can I come up with that will get a bunch of clicks and I don't really care and it's some kind of bullshit content, you know. But if it's like actually genuine, it's like I have to be like, what is my mission here? Well, I have a certain skill set, you know. It's this body, mind, soul, you know, bodybuilding, the jacked and stacked Giga Chad thing, that's a side of things, actual training and all those habits around that. But then lifestyle, addictions, you know, and then we come to mental health, depression, you know, and all these things, you know, that I've gone through and learned a lot about myself, and for a long time also discussed and worked with others on, right? And so I think it's when you get hit by something that I'm like, this has been helpful to me, and this, I figured my problem out, and it's going to help me in this way. You can see how it could help others, you know, and so that's when I go and do that. But also, many times, it's working with someone, clients I work with, I got an idea, like whether I say it outright or not, you know, because sometimes I say that this happened with a client, or this happened with this person in life, or whatever, you know, many times, but often, very often from you guys, either from actual direct requests from you, or like just discussions in the comments, or like critiques I get, or something like that, you know. Yeah, and sometimes some, you know, how true inspiration, it shouldn't have to be for like true creativity. You don't come up with an idea, really. The idea comes to you, you know, it just appears. You just gain access to it, like you start thinking about the thing so that you can create it, you know, like you have to go create it, but coming up with it happens by itself, if you see what I mean. So on some days, it's something will just hit me on that day, and I'm like, I have to prioritize this. But generally, I write down when I come up with something or I get something from you guys, I write it down in a list. And there are some things, you know, certain things that are, for instance, more training related and stuff. It's a typical good video for me. Like, okay, today I'm not feeling, like, it's not like I'm feeling bad, but I'm not feeling this like, I'm so inspired, and I have this, you know, talking for pure inspiration like this. And then I can go into the vault kind of and be like, I see a super chat here. I'm going to get to that before I go on with other ones. I'll just finish this one. But yeah, training. It's like, if I don't have that like super, like today I'm the super inspirational coach like that. I'm like, okay, today I'll go and be the little technical coach. I'll explain how the process of losing weight like this works. So this training concept, for instance, you know. And some days it's just like, well, today, when I look through the list, it's like, well, I kind of had some thoughts about this one that I've been meaning to do for a while. So now I get to this one, you know. And then, like I said, it is this one every now and then. I like something just, you know, comes to you on the day. And then there are these like more, sometimes you just know, right? Like if I'm going to do a fast and I'm going to do a video from each day, then it just becomes what it becomes, you know. But yeah, there's like a system, but it's quite intuitive. And yeah, I'll get back to this, but I'm going to look at that super chat. Randy NLN. Hi Theo. I did pull downs with a grip protector like you suggested. It made my hand be at an awkward angle and I felt it more on the triceps than the back, but not the big deal. We'll keep at it. Yeah, man. So did you do it with those double ones? Because it occurred to me, actually, I thought about that for some reason, again, that you asked me about that. And if you can, there are like, you would maybe have to buy them, you know, but there are these like bigger ones that they are made too for you to like hang in like this, you know, like you attach them and so that you can hang in them and do like leg races or something. But also you could attach this to a lat pull down. I saw this guy, Christian Thibodeau, I think, this French Canadian fitness guy, that he did it it's like around the elbows, pull down like this, you know. No, but I understand you can feel some triceps. But the triceps you're doing, when you pull like that, there's going to be the long head of the triceps going to be always a little bit involved. But yeah, experiment with angles and stuff. It's like, it's better than not being able to pull at all, right? So I'm glad it worked a little bit. Now you have maybe a little bit of new ideas to try. But generally, you know, I'll say generally, you know, think of just that there are also these... like complete Versa grips, or what they're called, like not just straps, but these actual hooks on them that you can use. And you know, I would generally recommend people to not rely too much on a thing like that. But I know that Randy here has arthritis. You know, like he has lots of wrist pain, so that's why we're discussing this. But yeah, man, thanks a lot for the support with the super chat and throughout the years, of course. And yeah. Keep me posted on the situation. Remember, guys, we don't really have problems, really. Like, don't be so liberal with what you call a problem. You often just have a situation to deal with, you know. There's often a way. Get back, before I read more in the chat. One guy asked, so you tried sleeping on the floor? I've not done that for a prolonged amount of time. I've tried it a few times. You know, I like it for a nap, but I find it hard to stay asleep for a long time, actually. But that's another thing you realize, you know, like what soft and comfy beds and pillows, like that just can't be natural, right? You know, and I feel like having a super soft bed is what actually makes you stiff, because the body has to compensate. While if you're lying on the hard floor, something is pushing at you, making you a little soft, like in the good way, like softening you up, not being tense. But yeah, no, I haven't tried it much. One guy asked, how are your neck workouts not injuring you? And it's kind of like, you know, he just assumes that it's something that's more dangerous with training the neck, because, you know, the neck is a muscle. I mean, the neck is it's a joint with muscles that can move it, you know. So you can train it just like any other muscles and joints. And I was just a little bit more careful, because I'm not super careful when it comes to training. Like, I'm not completely stupid, but I push it hard a lot. But actually with the neck, what I did was I started, you know, in a higher rep range. Like I went to failure, but maybe in a 12 to 20 rep range. And when I had made some good progress within that rep range, someone at the door? Hallå?
Ja, hej. Ni har bokat gästlokalen för imorgon.
Ja.
Så att vi har gäster som är där nu och de kommer lämna nycklarna ikväll.
Okej.
Så jag kan släppa dem i brevlådan.
Ja, gärna.
Ja.
Yes, jag har en livestream. Jag är live här inne just nu för 50 pers. Och det var därför jag blev lite så här bara.
Jaha. Okej, men då vet du.
Ja.
Jag har nyckeln och jag släpper den i min brevlåda.
Ja, men toppen. Tack så mycket. Wow. I get so, you know, it's like, what is it with my phone has been kind of quiet today. Like, you know, I have clients and stuff, so you know, I have people that text me, that stuff will go on my phone. But what is it with, like, I go live, then all the people that aren't clients or anything, like, start spamming me with stuff, and someone at the door. So it's so rare that someone rings on the door, like unannounced. And this was because I booked a guest apartment for some guests, basically, that are going to be here. And a guy that had a key before came to talk about that. But yeah, okay, we're here. Now, what I was saying about the neck was just that I progressed in a higher rep range before I felt like I had a solid foundation, and then I started to go a little bit lower. Never super low, but like 8 to 12 rather than 12 to 20 most of the time. Oh yeah, this guy asked a strange question. So I don't want to quit creatine for the great benefits, but whenever I work on abs, I get severe like cramps in my belly. What to do? So I'm like, I'm not sure I see that connection, you know, that it's the creatine that gives the cramps. I would first of all go off the creatine just to confirm, do I not get cramps now? But it's like, I don't know, man. If it turns out that you get cramps from doing abs when you take creatine, well, then it seems like you have a choice to do, you know, do you want to give up the ab training or do you want to give up the creatine? Or is the cramps something you can put up with? Or like, I'm not quite understanding, you know. It's also whenever I work on abs, it's like, how many times have you done this? It's like a temporary thing, or just getting very, very, you know, feeling a lot as you're training? I don't know, man. But okay, those were all the pre-collected questions. So yeah, I'll catch up in the chat here. Like the stream if you haven't, guys. Maybe support the channel with the super chat. 20k, you know, honestly, guys, of course, like 15k and 20k and stuff is like significant numbers, but to me, it's like when I hit 1,000 subs, which is years ago now, right? But that's a big milestone, you know, because that's when you get monetized. Like you can put ads on your videos, you can go live and get super chats. Before you can go live from your phone too. It's a funny thing, you couldn't go live from your phone, but from your PC before you have 1,000. But yeah, now you can go live both from PC and phone, and you can get super chats. But then, you know, 10,000, you see, that seemed, so of course when I double it to 2,000, it's like, yeah, okay. But to me, it's like 10,000 is when I'll feel a difference, you know. And kind of the same thing now that, yeah, sure, 15k, great, 20k will be great. But it's also kind of like 100k. That's the next milestone, truly now. But okay, where were we? So, are you a Christian? Spectre 28 Actual asked. I'm not. I'm, you know, someone said that my take in my video that I posted yesterday, the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit, that it's a Gnostic take. And I'm like, yeah, I guess it kind of is, but it is my take, you know, it's my belief in God. That's all you got. I was thinking about this. This is something, I might already have a video called that. But you know, guys, look within, not without. It's like things outside of you, they are still just things that you are like, oh, okay. And then you bring back to when you search for the truth within, right? And so everything I see when I present God and that, like maybe I've heard someone say something and I'm like, yeah, that was a good way of putting it, you know, but it's all based on the way I experience God. I've never read a religious text and like, okay, so this is how God is, you know, or, you know, this is what it's all about. It's like, no, I have a general belief of God. I would be happy to say I'm a spiritual warrior, son of God, whatever you want, but I'm not really a Christian. Internet Explorer. What do you think about high intensity training, doing only one set of each exercise taken to true failure? It's like, yeah, if you want to make gain, but I'm never, what I never understand is like, you're just never going to be optimal, you know. I want to do more because I like to do more. It is also more beneficial. It's like that first set to failure, that's responsible for the majority of the gains you do in the workout, but it's also very clear from studies, science, trademark, that more volume is still better. So, you know, it's like when I have, because I mostly don't, but if I have like time pressure or I want to deload the workout a bit or something, then that's what I might do. One set to failure on each exercise, you know, maybe with a few exceptions. but it's like I don't see. It's like if you have to save time, you want to be time efficient, yes, but it's really the way I see it. It's never when we're talking about high intensity training with a low volume, we're never talking about what is most optimal. We're just talking about an approach that works and that might be good in certain situations or circumstances or for someone's priorities with how much time they want to invest in training and that. But it's just never going to be the optimal thing. Brian Rios, I have a girlfriend as of yesterday. Thanks to you and your outlook on relationship dynamics. She respects me, man. It feels crazy because I was not Chad growing up, but now, well, I'm glad. But thanks to me, that it's you, bro. Like, what did I do about it? I haven't even seen your name here before, you know. So I'm glad if the videos were helpful, but that was you. But tell me, is there anything special you picked up from me that helped? But I'm glad for you. Congratulations, man. Congrats, Randy said. And yeah, thanks again for the super chat. Sixten Andreasson says, congratulations. Dvoid says, what is the golden one? It's like, come on. Now I made myself have to talk about him. The golden one is just another YouTuber, you know. That also, you know, I honestly don't think we're that alike from the little I know. I mean, there are some things that are related, of course. But yeah. A lot of people that found this channel know about the golden one that they asked me about him. Golden Gubbe, you should stop using snus, bro. Well, I won't. Tilo Halvorsen, how do you work around injuries? I broke my right wrist and have trouble with quite a few movements, now particularly pushing motions. Any tips on how to deal with that? But I feel like I don't know. It's just because working with it, I answer the question of the pre-collected question. So I don't know, I just get confused. But you know, I don't know if you heard that or not. But you know, you have to find a way to work the area that works, you know. Okay, you say particularly pushing motions, and it's your right wrist. Well, find the common denominator. When does it hurt, you know? Like I hurt my wrist specifically, you know, right here. It hurt in the fall. It's still a little like it's not perfect, but it's not a limitation anymore. But I couldn't press because it would hurt here, right? A barbell press. But for instance, I found in one gym I went to, there was a chest press machine where it not only had handles like this, but this, a neutral grip. And then I could go heavy and intense there. And the position was better for my wrist. So you see, that's one example. It might, because you mentioned the wrist and pressing, pushing motion, so maybe exactly that is something that would work for you. But the idea is like, okay, what you would do and can't do, find the closest thing that you can do, right? And then I'm sure some rehab for that. If you go to my pool workout video, just by chance, because I've had a little bit of wrist and elbow issues, they're a lot better now, but the warm-up is very wrist-focused, so you can look at the warm-up there. It could probably help you too. Like the stream, guys, if you haven't. Support Uncommon Sense with a super chat. Dolph, what do you think about the natural bodybuilding community on YouTube, like Natural Hypertrophy, Alex Leonidas, Bald Omniman, Basement Bodybuilding, Jeffrey Verity Schofield, etc.? Well, I love those guys. Basement Bodybuilding is the one I follow the least, but I do follow him on Instagram. No, but all those guys are great, you know. I like Bald Omniman a lot. I like that even he is more of a pure like fitness bro bodybuilding channel, but he does share some life advice. I think he's an insightful guy. Like he's a smart guy, you know, but he's great with the training programming. Just a good dude. Alex Leonidas, honestly, I've always found him a little boring to watch, but that doesn't take anything away from him being extremely impressive and good content. I do watch content still, you know. Yeah, no, he extremely impressive. Like so strong, both these guys, you know, Bald Omniman and Alex Leonidas. Natural Hypertrophy, have not followed. He's done so much videos, long videos, like. Some people have likened me to him as well because of the more the philosopher part, you know. but I like NH. He's big. He's good at what he does, obviously. Jeffrey Verity Schofield, I also like a lot. I like the guy. We're kind of similar. Kind of lone wolf extrovert types. Yeah, and like while he's more of a pure bodybuilder, prioritizes that goal more than I do, even if I like it. He like the intensity, the training is he and I share. We share a lot of ideas on like the approach like that. So yeah, now I gave a little take on all the guys that I know something about. I love those guys. Brian Rios, don't forget to give the stream a thumbs up, guys. It helps the channel for sure. Exactly. Follow Brian's example here. Like the stream. Send a super chat, please. Alfonso Quintero, do you ever use steel clubs and maces as a part of any of your routines? They're supposed to be good for your tendons and joint movement. It's funny when I get this question, when there's like several videos, several streams on this channel when I'm using a sledgehammer. I did have a club before, it got stolen, but I have a mace and I have a hammer or a sledge, and yeah, I love it. It's like supposed to be good for your tendons and joint movement. It's amazing, like both rehab and prehab for the shoulders and wrists mainly with all this stuff, But yeah, I love it. And it's not just that it's good for those things. Guys, movement is medicine and a gift. It's not a punishment because you suck and you need to like be beaten until you're good. It's a gift to get to use your body and play with it and have fun with it, but also in the same process, at the same time, make it stronger and better, So on top of the heavy gym workouts, which you can learn to love too, which I do most of the time, especially this other stuff, it's like, yes, it serves a purpose for like rehab and prehab, conditioning, but also part of it is just nice to do. When people have asked me, like, why? What's the purpose of using that sledge or something? It's like, for what reason? It's like, it's fun. I want to do it. You can actually do things like that because you want to. Fredrik Arpe, can you have firearms in Sweden? Do you have any interest in firearms for defense or hunting? And of course, I'm American. Yeah, I think you can, but it's difficult. You can get a hunting license and you can get one of those rifles, right? Like if I have an interest, I haven't taken like an active interest, and probably for the reason that it's not going to be so available for me. However, I think you should be able to own guns. I agree with those policies, which most Swedes would not, by the way. Those Americans and the crazy guns. There's a good old video. It's how to change someone's opinion. I did years and years ago, but I talk about how I was sitting with these Swedish guys and they were all anti-gun, and I was pro-gun, but I didn't really care about the debate, and I kind of owned them and converted one of them a little bit without trying. But yeah, no, I mean, it's difficult to get firearms here. I used to be into soft air guns and stuff when I was younger, and I've been thinking about picking one. I just so happened to, I bought a new backpack at this store that just had so much cool stuff, like bows, swords, knives, but also these airsoft guns, So I do have an interest in it, but I'm never taking it like a huge interest in it because, yeah, it's not America, basically. Lee J, when you reversed out of your diet, how did you transition to higher calories? I just finished my cut down to 10%. Now I'm going back up. Yeah, it's like, for me, it's intuitive. I've done it so much. Like the very last thing I did was a dry fast, right? And so on the day of breaking it, I consumed a lot of calories, but mainly carbs from juice to rehydrate, but also carb up, and then I looked sick. Next day, I've been using those pictures a lot lately. But then, after I ate a bit more on that day too, but not as much as on the refeed day. But then I've gone through I've gone back to, I did, like I told you, like maybe you weren't here, but my cutting routine, I keep the same base structure that I talk about in my Fitness Diet 101. It's like, okay, now I added back a little bit of rice in the morning, you know. Okay, now I'm not as strict with the amounts of meat, so maybe I have just a little bit more meat. Okay, now I start drinking a little bit of juice outside of my regular, food. So basically, it's like maybe 500 calories, 5 to 800 calories on average that I added. But also, that's me not trying to hold on to a leaner look. It's like me being fine with kind of lean bulking, like maintaining, but rather gain weight slowly than like stay lean at this point, you know. So, you know, it's like just add little bit back. And if I had a client, you know, and I know his numbers, then I would give like more exact reverse diet numbers, if you see what I mean. I see I got a super chat here, $20. That's generous. Dvoid. Theo, you asked if there was a particular quote that helped me out of that dark place. Yes, you said, if we think about the mindset being as what the physique is to the body, the mindset is to the brain. It's a certain shape. Yeah, well, I like that, man. I like to hear that. Because it's true, you know. The mindset, like someone else said it in the comments, you know, it's the way your mind operates now. So that's why it's mindset training, you know. A mindset, it's not just, you know, hearing some quotes and saying, like starting to repeat them. No, it's when you've actually like integrated these quotes so that they are part of your mindset. It's not just something you just heard and parrot, right? And yeah, I notice it so much with things I've done. It's like you literally just start looking at them differently. It's like fasting for me. That I literally don't see it as, oh, I'm so hungry, oh, I want to eat so much, you know. It's more like, oh, now the fasting is intense, you know. Yeah, I'm really fasted right now, but it's like it's not on the table to break the fast. I had a call with a new client today, and he asked me that, like, how can you just do that? And I had to explain that, look, man, it's a gradual shift. I can do that because I've done it over and over and over, and I too failed, but at the start with things. But when you've told yourself certain things and changed the way like you think and do things for long enough, you have actually changed, you know. So yeah, man, thanks for telling me exactly a quote and helped you, and thanks for the generous contribution of $20 to the channel. It's very much appreciated. I don't take it for granted at all, guys. Get back to the other dudes. Give a little heart to the super chat too. Oh, C-bum. There was so much more in the chat than I thought. Okay, Dolph, at some point it probably makes sense to just do enough sets to maintain the muscle and maybe drop the intensity a little. Yeah, you know, you're gonna find out when you get there. Like if something is too much for you, yeah, then you have to change something. It's a nice beverage, this one. Jon Zook, you look like you do steroids. Don't mean this as a bad thing, mean it as a compliment. Look up to you, bro. Don't let anyone bring you down. Well, I appreciate that, man. Like I look like I'm on steroid and you mean it as a compliment. It's like, yeah, thanks, you know. But I appreciate you saying that you look up to me and that you don't want, I shouldn't let anyone bring me down. Honestly, when people, because you know it does annoy me, absolutely, that people will just think you're on steroids and that they will spread this, you know, and that it doesn't matter. Like I said, if I'm just some guy that trains and I don't have a YouTube channel, I don't work as a coach or something, it doesn't matter really if people think I'm on steroids. I mean, even that would be annoying, of course, that people like kind of take away from your work like that. But it's what I'll say though is that nothing I've gotten like hate or something is more than like annoying, irritating in the moment, you know. And I think it's something you just like with having a bigger following and stuff, it's just a little intense. Like even for me, that's an extrovert. I like to interact with people, but even because of this reason, you know, can feel like a responsibility. Like even when it's not hate or something, that there's lots of people interacting with me and telling me things and wanting to ask me things, you know. Like it's great, it's awesome, but I'm saying it's a little like intense sometimes. But it's just part of the gig, of course. There are so many upsides and good things, but I appreciate what you say. But generally, more than like in the moment getting annoyed by something, I don't generally don't feel like anything is bringing me down. You know, appreciate you, bro. Dolph, my gym doesn't have a decline bench somehow. Big bummer. Do you mean incline bench? I think because a decline bench. You know, some people like it, but to me it's been useless when I tried that. Like, so the decline bench is not when you're facing like upwards, your head is downwards, you know. So it targets the lower chest more, and it's a shorter range of motion. So you can move more weight, but when I've tried it, it just feels so awkward, you know. So if you actually meant decline bench, I wouldn't be so sorry about it. If you mean incline bench, well, I'm sure you can set one up. I'm sure you have benches for the dumbbells and stuff. You can bring a bench to like a squat rack or something and just set it up. I'm sure you can make it happen. Bananovi Klopiek. Hey, how much tren to take for massive gains? 1 gram of tren a week, good to build 30 pounds of muscle in 50 days. I mean, I think you should take more, probably. Like, because it's about steroids and stuff, I'll say that I'm joking. I have no idea. 1 gram of tren, from the little I know about steroids, it sounds like it's a lot, you know. But of course, not a very serious question. See that Void mentioned me here on Instagram. I'll look at it. I'll look at it right away. Yeah, come on. I appreciate that. I'll share your story that you shared on my story after the stream, because I literally can't right now. Okay, where were we? Roman Kalinowski, what fat burners you use on cut? Like, are you joking? Oh, you asked about that because now you're like, Yohimbine HCl is not legal in EU to buy now. Is it safe to buy from illegal labs? Like, is this a joke too, or I'm not understanding it? You asked about, someone asked about this Yohimbine stuff, and it's like, guys, I'm natural, and I'm like, I take some supplements, but I'm not really super interested in those things. It's like I can burn fat without any supplement, you know. So, like I don't use any. Like, I mean, I would take caffeine, but I always drink coffee. Well, that's actually a little fat burner, you know, elevates the heart rate a little bit, and it suppresses the appetite. It can help you lose weight. But whether you would use a little supplement that does something for you or not, being in an energy deficit, you spending more energy that you take in is the key, no matter what. So I don't use them. I think just I mean, stop trying to do shortcuts and learn to just cut instead. And I'm not even sure if you're serious. Kalle Montan. Hello. I saw you break a 5-day fast with a carrot, herring, potatoes, and some more things. Have you always been able to break a fast with so much food? Like, to me, that's not much food. It's like, that's not much. It's like a standard little meal, you know. And, I mean, I think honestly, people, I think it's an idea people have made up in their head that you, just because you didn't eat for some days, that you wouldn't be able to just eat again. Why does everyone think that the human body is so fragile? And like, no, you need the comfort of living in a modern city and have access to food at all times, you know, or else, like, well, you just have to start slow, man. Because your gut, if it didn't have food for like a couple of days, it'll just, it doesn't work that way. So I used to break the fast with like actually a lot of food when I would also have a low eating frequency. Like, I would break a 3-day fast and eat like 800 grams of beef and like 2 deciliters of rice, you know. So, I mean, I don't even think it's that much, and I think people exaggerate this. It's with a dry fast mainly that I want to start slow. Like sometimes when I dry fasted, I even if I was thirsty, I even couldn't drink that fast because it kind of hurt. It was like contracted. I had to take it slow. This time I didn't have to take it so slow. You know, I drank water with some salt. You know, I let that just sink down, like while I was taking my bath. Like 15 minutes later, I was eating some watermelon. A little bit later, I don't even remember exactly what I ate at this point, but I think I ate some herring again, not too much later, and it wasn't like a problem, you know. And I don't think it's just me. Sixto V, what do you think about CrossFit? Well, you know, it's like I think a lot of people could get hurt from CrossFit. It's so intense. I kind of hate it and love it. I've never done it, but you know, I both hate and love that they do everything. You know, it's kind of annoying. It's like chaotic to me to think about and like structure. You know, at the same time, it's kind of cool that they do everything. You know, it's quite holistic in the movement sense. You know, and so when someone is like a good CrossFitter is quite impressive, but they often have quite impressive physiques. I have one good friend who is a CrossFitter. He's quite jacked. I've just had some content on Instagram with him. He's not here on the channel yet. But yeah, it's not my favorite thing, but I'm kind of neutral about it, you know. Make Fox sound great again. Theo, my fellow blonde meathead, just curious, so you're also blonde meathead, you're saying? Another liquid snake over there. Just curious how many calories you're eating on a bulk. Do you ever allow cheat meals, pizzas, etc.? So I'm sure I've talked about this in videos. Like I have a bulking video that I talked about when I started bulking like 9 months ago or something. And yeah, so my calories when I bulk are probably like 3,500 to 4,000. Like I have to push it closer to 4,000 most of the time to even gain weight now. And it will, you know. So, and you say, do you allow for cheat meals? It's like, for me, it's not even a cheat. It's that I've gotten so high metabolism. Like before, I could bulk on like only clean food. But that started becoming an issue back then when I had less muscle and that. And now it's like, yes, initially, if I go from like my current state and I just try to eat more real food, I'm going to gain weight. But like when I get close to like 90, when I start to get above 87, it's going to be very difficult from just regular food. So yes, what I do just for strategic purposes is I'll throw in pizza is often my go-to. Because I think I like pizza. It's not the worst thing. If it's a decent quality and you have good toppings on it, you know, and it's easy for me to eat. And that's what I kind of say when bulking. Like advanced bodybuilders, like advanced natural bodybuilders, such as myself, and hard gainers, like naturally skinny people. It's kind of the same. You become like a hard gainer because it's hard to make gains because you're so advanced. Right, but what I always say is like don't just pig out and eat complete crap. Like try to get as much like a solid foundation of good real food, and then if you need more to push beyond that point, then get into like your ice cream and pizza stuff, right? And you're like that's why nutrition is so contextual, you know. It's like when you are healthy, you know, moving, training a lot, and that it's like this little pizza on top of all the good stuff. It's like it's just energy, really, you know. So I don't even consider it cheats, you know, because it's literally a strategy to be able to gain weight without like, because you know, for me to gain weight beyond like 90 kilos with just super clean food, that it's like I would have to spend so much time on just eating, you know. And not to be feeling so good either, because I'm always like, oh, full of food. Banana Ovi Kloppiek. Ab wheel is best for all ab muscles. Trains all abs, all sides. you know, it's a decent exercise. What I don't like is just that, you know, an ab wheel is something I could see myself doing, like, if I just have access to some random equipment and I'm not doing my typical routine, you know, you know, because it's not just an ab movement, you know, you have to use your shoulders a lot, you even use the glutes, you know, so yeah, like, it's a good exercise, it trains the abs, but yeah. Dolph said that some back movements can work obliques too, I think. Yeah, everything when you have to stabilize your core. Martin says, congrats, Theo. Thanks, Martin. Vielen Dank, my dear moderator. Chris Krotin says, yo. You always just say yo. You announce that you're here. Then you don't say anything more. Like the stream if you haven't, guys. Maybe send a super chat. Got a couple contributions today. Appreciate it. Baked Earth, thanks for being a good example by promoting natural lifting. Respect, brother. Well, I appreciate that, and I'm happy to set a good example. Vignesh says, congratulations, bro. Thanks, man. Bully Maguire says he drank cola and ate gummy bears for the entire day, and he's a gangster. I don't approve. Sandy, how much did the hammer weigh from the other day? Congrats, by the way. Let's keep growing. Thanks. That hammer weighs 4 kilos. And it's so different with these longer objects, with a longer moment arm, you know. Way different to swing around something with a way out there than just holding it in your hand. That's what makes those objects cool. And there's a huge opportunity for progressive overload on some movements for this reason. Like I did these wrist rotations. With a sledgehammer, you can just keep moving up, you know, where you hold on the hammer, right? Randy and Alan, yes, I use the ones with hooks. Yes, arthritis, finger pain. Yeah, I was just confirming what I was talking about. Answering the super chat before. Vinay Temburnikar, deservedness over discipline. Can you please shed light on the mindset that caused your physical transformation? Did you consciously change your mindset? If so, how? So I feel like I talk about it all the time, you know. And I say that, you know, yeah, I did consciously change it. When I first was, you know, if I try to answer this again in short, you know, is that when I went through this thing that I did with the panic attacks, where, because what I say too is taking the right actions for a long time will automatically change your mindset too. Because, you know, when you expose yourself to a situation over and over and over and over, you, like the way you look at it and that, it will change, you know, it will have to. Like that's with fears, right? There's no way of just thinking your way out of a fear. You have changing your mindset there. It literally takes action, right? So, you know, it was this, just that I had realized that that's the only way. No one is coming to save me. I have to face these panic attacks. And then, when I came out on the other side and didn't get panic attacks anymore, and I started to train, which I did not like then, but I noticed so fast how I felt better from it. It's like when I made the connection that, like the thing I want to run away from, running towards that means growth, you know. Yeah, so it's like since then, I have programmed myself to be looking for things I want to run from, things like now because just I have many mindset things, so now I'm trying to keep it stay on the thing you talked about there. But like the physical transformation, if I focus on that, it's like, you know, I just know, just like I knew, all I have to do when I have like the panic attacks, I just have to go and try to face them. Just like I just have to do the workout, you know. And so even when I wanted to run from it, and I just know that if I get this workout in now, you know, I've done what I had to do for the day, and I can go about the rest of my day. I am doing what I need, you know. And I just repeated these things to myself over and over, and I taught myself that when I'm uncomfortable, that's good, because that means that on the other side of that is growth. So lately, this is the last thing I'll say, because there's so much to say. But I also told the client today that because he was talking about how he looks for comfort, and I talked about how I've programmed myself to be the opposite. That lately, I'm working hard. I'm doing some things that are like uncomfortable, as in training and tough, pushing myself, and I'm working hard. I'm using effort, but I'm generally kind of comfortable, as in even if I'm using making effort. I'm a little comfortable just with my routine with some things. And I was thinking to myself, I need to come up with something scary to do. I would need a challenge like that. I would need to face a fear and overcome it, to bring a little excitement, to things. So you see, that's one thing that I've associated this, that like discomfort, pushing myself, going beyond what I had before. I just know that it leads to what I want in the end. So, and the more you do that, the closer you are to what you want in the end, the easier it is to focus on these things that sometimes are tough. It's like, yeah, but as long as I'm doing this, I'm getting what I want, So, yeah, there you go. I'm shedding some light on the mindset there. Dominic T. Hi, bro. Congrats on 15K. Appreciate that, man. What are your thoughts on high rep calisthenics, 500 plus reps, push-ups, pull-ups, etc.? I don't really know. I don't have too much of an opinion on it. It's like, I'm just wondering why you want to do that, And it's like, why? I mean, I'm sure you build some muscle from that, even though I think it would be more efficient to, do another approach. But of course, could be a good recovery protocol, even could be good for building up your work capacity. But my thing is kind of like, I love me calisthenics, but why so high reps? Like, why not mix it up a bit more? That would be my thing. 3XS, thoughts on kettlebells, yay or nay? It's like, I personally haven't used them all that much. It's for certain exercises. But look, all these objects like dumbbells, kettlebells, and that, it's kind of like, thus the way the object is shaped, and how that influences the center of gravity and how it is to grab, and that, like, sometimes one object makes more sense than another one, or works better, or is different, so you get something else out of the movement, So the kettlebell, it's like, yay, even if I haven't used them much, you can use them to a lot of things I haven't used. And there are many things also that you could use the same object that it wouldn't be too big of a difference, Like, let's say a walking lunge, probably not a huge difference to be holding dumbbells or kettlebells. So yeah, they're good, but they're just a tool. It's like, what do you do with them, Bully McGuire says that I easily could be a model. That's funny. Hey, yo, it's me. I'm not sure what you're saying to that, but well, thanks, I guess. But I like modeling. Modeling could be cool if you felt like you did it for the right thing. I could, of course, also at some point just take some cool pictures when you hit the cut and go and like be in a good setting at a peak shape and do some posing. But in promoting the right kind of thing, but like just generally being to modeling. Like, do you see, if I got offered like a gig, like, do you want to do some modeling for this brand that you really can stand behind and resonate with the company's values and whatever they provide? It's like, yeah, I could do that, but like just generally go into modeling is not something I feel much like doing. I'm probably too short too, but I don't really care. Dolph, what do you think about finding hobbies beyond lifting? I used to play video games a lot, but I want to replace it with something else. Yeah, it's like what I think about it, do that. But lifting, it's like I'm finding a lot that's physical still though. Like, I get that sledgehammer. I recently now, I tried to put it up today, but it's like you got to find the right spot. But a slack line, so you can balance on it. I play some golf. I will play a little bit of golf in the summer, so I like to go out and train for the golf. For the golf, I have some training balls, that they don't go far, even if you hit them well. And it's like what I think about it. It's like you go try things. I'm thinking I want to go try some dancing. I'm not having a super I'm not be like what I'm finding online right now is not great, but I think I'll actually go to some places I know offer these. And like, is there something you could do here in the summer? But it's kind of like what I think about finding them. It's like you have to just try things and notice. Just like when you get into training, you have to try things to notice what you like, you know, so you can build a gym approach that you like. Well, you have to just try some activity, look for some activities to do, and you will find something that you like. And video games, by the way, like, you know, it's funny, in one video I said that, yes, you are a little boy if you still play video games too much. I said, like, if you prioritize that, if you sit and video game all day. Lots of guys got emotional that I was attacking video games. But it's funny because I like, if you watch my Instagram, for instance, like almost the only music I put on my clips is like video game music, and I like video games. I don't play them much anymore, even in my free time. But I always say about a thing like that, it's like if your work is done, you've trained, you've done everything. Like if you want to play a little bit of video games to wind down in your free time, I don't think there's a problem with that. I gotta say though, for me personally, I just wish I could get into video games as much as I could, but I just can't. But like when I was a kid, I could easily just sit the entire day if I was allowed. But now, even like when I came home from Greece, I had like bought the latest Zelda game, then, you know, Tears of the Kingdom, and I asked my mom like to go pick it up for me, so that because I wasn't feeling great and I was looking forward to coming home and like I'm just gonna play some Zelda. And even this new game that I'm supposed to think is like so cool and exciting, it's like I can't play for more than 2 hours max, usually less, like 1 to 2 hours, and yeah, just can't get into it as much these days. Like the stream if you haven't, guys. Consider supporting Uncommon Sense with a super chat. Bully McGuire, sorry guys, had to check. I don't know. Dog, your eyes are ice blue. What the hell? Like bully. Like you're not being much of a bully to me, I must say. Like, well, yeah. Making me feel beautiful here. Where were we? There, Federico Taroni. Sadly, I have not training neck. I should go back soon as I get a bench in my bedroom. I will start with no weights, neck curls, all directions. Yeah, so neck curls are the front though, just so you know. But yeah, sure. But no weight is a little silly, you know. Like you could have a 5 kilo plate. Like anyone could have a 5 kilo plate. I feel like that's a like grown man. Rhys Owen, how are you doing your neck workouts? Like go search the channel for neck. Like if I explain it, it's not gonna be as good. It's like I have one of these neck harnesses. It's like it's not your fault, man. But you get so tired of like you feel like you put stuff out. So it's like yeah, so no one will ask about this anymore. It's like yeah, well people ask all the time anyway. But yeah, you know, I have the neck harness now. I've used the cable mostly. Right, you hang weight from it, and then you literally sit, do like that, and you train the back. That's the neck extensions. Then for neck curls, you just lie on a bench so that your neck is outside the bench, and then you want to use something in between a weight, like a, you know, even wearing a little beanie, but like put a towel or something here, put the weight here, and then just curl inwards. And those are the 2 movements I've been doing twice per week, 3 sets of each for like 10 months now. Sixter Andreasson, do you listen to podcast when you go on walks or just silence? Lately, actually, mostly silence. Like I'm practicing a lot in my life to not be so distracted all the time. Like, of course, sometimes it's just like you want to take in the information from a podcast and you're rather than just sitting on your ass like you're out on a walk, you know. But so I'm not saying that you can't ever do that or that I wouldn't ever. But lately I catch myself a lot that, you know, when you just want to listen to something to kind of keep you stimulated more, dopamine really. I catch myself a lot and do things like, you know, cleaning the dishes or just sitting down to eat or going on a walk and that, and just doing that. And I gotta say, it's been a great thing to do because now many tasks that have felt like more difficult for me to do somehow, it's like they're just, I can't explain it better, that they're just easier to do since I started doing tasks and really like, this is what I'm doing, even if it's something very simple. And in our modern world, it would be so easy to like, oh, I'll just have YouTube on, or I'll just listen to a podcast or something, you know. So the answer is I do both, but especially lately, I focus on doing many things and just doing them. Kirill Mervin. Bro, how do you keep low body fat percentage? I'm naturally fat and want to keep low body fat percentage forever. And then you ask how many calories and carbs, fat, protein you eat. Like, I'm not going to answer. That last thing is not something you need to worry about. It doesn't matter for you at all what I do with that. So how I keep low body fat percentage is like, you know, I built a good amount of muscle and I've learned to cut. I've cultivated this physique and way of being, metabolism, approach to diet and training, I've cultivated over 6 years now. That's how I do it, you know. Like when I started, I cut down to just being kind of lean, but not as lean as now. And it was difficult for me to get lower then. And then I started bulking. I put on some more muscle. And it was still difficult for me to cut, like as in I had to use more willpower. But I had higher metabolism from my more muscle mass now. So now I could get down to, well, pretty much, I think, a similar level as I've been now. Then I got into the fasting, and that made it really easy to get to even lower body fat percentages, you know. And then I've done these routines with fasting and bulking and cutting, bulking, cutting, bulking, cutting, you know, sometimes bulked a little harder, but generally staying within a lower end of a healthier body fat percentage range. And it's like both. When you lose weight, your body might fight you a little way at certain times because it's looking for homeostasis. So sometimes, you know, the body will try to hold on to weight before it gives in and finds balance at a new lower set point of body fat. But also having more muscle mass just makes it a lot easier to get lean and stay lean. So, you know, naturally fat, no one is, you know, like you just aren't, you know. Like there are genetics that give you certain tendencies, but you know the fat had to come from somewhere. Like also you would die if you didn't eat for enough time, right? So naturally fat. It's like I'm saying this because it's like you're identifying as a fat person, and you can't do that, you know. So you say that you want to keep low body fat percentage ever. Well, start seeing yourself as a person with low body fat that, you know, that manages that. And then first you have to fake it until you make it act as if. You have to imitate how a person like that acts. And it's not my calories and carbs, fats, proteins that matters. It's how I approach diet. And you can see that in my video, Fitness Diet 101. It's also training hard. It's also barely drinking. It's, you know, it's all these things, right? So, you know, I've cultivated this way of being over years. I'm going to tell you, new super chat. The Void, again, $10. Which of your vids should a beginner again follow about proper daily diet, regaining mobility and regular stretching? I want to get fit again, but I'm so stiff all the time and eat too dirty still. Well, look, Fitness Diet 101, Build Your Fitness Diet 101 is the good one for your proper daily diet. That's like really what it's all about. I don't have any videos purely on mobility and regular stretching. It's, to me, guys, it's one thing that's, you know, I'm trying also to say it in a way that doesn't sound too full of myself, but, you know, when you're a bit of a genius at certain things, you know, it's like a thing like mobility. If you really live for this, you know, I want to feel good, I want my body to be good. Like mobility, you don't even have to be structured about it. Like it's just using your body and, you know, you can feel what is stiff, what stretches that, what movement feels good to do that, you know, just do that. But I understand, you know, we need some more technical framework sometimes. But yeah, for now, that's just not something I've done. But you say you want to get fit again, but I'm so stiff all the time. It's like, start moving though. Like mobility, it's not just stretching, it's using your body. Like start doing squats and going deep. Start doing dumbbell presses and going deep, getting a nice stretch on the pecs, you know. do your deep dips, your deep dead hang chin-ups and stuff, you know. So that's it for now, but I've already been thinking, I guess I need to do some kind of mobility video for you guys. It's just that I feel like most people that have trained, use their body and train their muscles, like I feel like if you use your brain a little bit, you'll be able to come up with something mobility-wise. But I'm gonna, it's noted that I should make a video of that. And thanks again for another contribution to the channel The Void. Do not take it for granted at all. So I'll try to finish up what's in the chat now, and then I'll leave for today. The super chats, when you click them, it's like I can't remove them without resetting the chat completely. There's lots of stuff. I'm gonna finish I don't even know if I can. Where were we? Wow, there's so much. Bully Maguire says he wants gone to be a hot babe, much harder that way. Well, Kirill Mervin, oh yeah, no. Dense decisions. Last night I had an important assignment, but I turned it in incomplete. I was on a roll for about 1.5 hours. Do you have any advice for getting out of a kind of ostrich mode where you can't even look at the assignment? That's kind of funny. Me and a friend often talks about pulling the ostrich that others do. Honestly, man, no, it's like, you know, you have to do the thing, right? I mean, I think, because I generally don't feel. Do you know what when I feel ostrich mode? I do it as fast as I can. That's something I'm working on lately too. That this is typical for me. You know, my days, like they are a little different, of course, but this is what a day could be like. You know, go up, have some client calls, train, come back, eat, go record some videos and go on a walk. You know. Maybe do a little bit more outside activity, record more video, have more calls, you know, and then sometimes in the evening, it's like I might have some like writing programs for clients to do, for instance, that it's not so much fun, like working with the clients, but maybe what the part when I put it into the training software is the most exciting part. And sometimes if I'm like wiped out, I can feel myself wanting to run away from a task like that. But I just know it will just hang over me and I won't feel good, and I'll have to do it in stress tomorrow instead. So I've decided many times, like I've been like, I just auto-suggest myself, like, no, just go do it now, Theo. Go do it now. But if it's a bigger assignment, maybe get out of ostrich mode, you have to hit some complete reset. Maybe go out on a walk, get some fresh air. Maybe meditate for a little bit, you know, just something that resets your state, so maybe you can be a little more regulated and calm when you look at this. The man, what's your best tip to develop your chest? Train it using progressive overload. Inclined bench presses, dumbbell presses, dips, ring push-ups. Alfonso Quintero, sounds like people want to see you do a collab with him. Yeah, golden one. At Fee says you are now the golden one and he's the bronze. That's funny. So when I appeared, not only was he demoted from golden down to silver, but somehow he even lost the silver because I hit him so hard. So yes, I'm gonna try to, because I'm trying to get to everything now. I'm so annoyed that the default mode is the top chat. If I refresh the chat, goes back. No, but I'll try to respond faster now to stuff, so I can get to everything before we go. Super chats will be prioritized, of course. Like the stream if you haven't already. Also, you need a battle axe at Peace Pieces. Yeah, axe. I'll be happy to take any object to play around with. Dense decisions. Do you use foam rollers, yoga blocks, or anything like that? The main thing of those things that I use are trigger balls. Because you can really get a lot of pressure on one point, and you know that's the closest you can come to massaging yourself, I feel like, and just crushing the shoulders and the chest and delts and the glutes mainly with a trigger ball. Like wow, Yeah. I have a foam roller, I just don't use it nearly as often. Savagersd. Theo, doing bodybuilding, did you experience shoulder pain? I stopped the gym 10 years ago with bench press, got sharp pain, currently 1 year straight, got the pain again. I think it is rotator cuff. Yeah, I mean, I've experienced shoulder pains many times, and my shoulders are a little uneven, and I can feel some discomfort in both of them, and it's like a complex joint. As often something is going to feel a little bit off there. So yeah, and I've also completely destroyed both of my shoulders and kind of fixed them. Tim Bow says, hard to believe you don't take gear. You look jacked as fuck. The thing though is, like, even people that take gear, you have to train properly, right? It's like, what I'm sometimes like, is like, guys, like you think someone looks on steroids because they have muscle mass and low body fat, you know? It's like, do steroids do those things, or do people, humans do those things, you know? Can the human body build muscle, and can it burn fat, you know? And then it's like, yes, the steroids make it so that you can take it to, you raise the lowest, or like the highest, like you raise the potential by a lot for what you can do. But really, that a guy couldn't be 84 kilos and, like, I don't know, 12% body fat and 177 centimeters as a consequence of having trained like super seriously and consistently on a level that almost no one does. Honestly, the way I've done it, it's like I've been more serious about what I do than certain elite athletes are going to be, I promise you. It's like, is it really so unbelievable that you look incredible after 6 years of doing that? And now it's summertime, also having a nice tan all the time. That's something, guys, people don't understand how much the tan contributes, you know, not only the nice color of your skin, but, you know, you're sweating out stuff, you get smooth, but also it's like the skin is like not dry as in chappy, you know, but it's like crisp. It contributes a lot to the look. But yeah, it's like hard to believe. Why though? People can build muscle, believe it or not. That's actually not something steroids do. They just enhance that. You can build muscle. You can lose fat without them. RFGT Gamer, PowerTech UB20 bench with leg. I have no idea what that is. Basal barf. Did you work out on your fast? So go watch my videos about fasting. It's like I fasted many times. I don't know which fast you refer to. I generally don't. It's not important on the fast. The important thing when you fast is to not eat. And it's a very temporary thing. So the priority is not to train. But I train always when I don't fast, and I eat protein then. So you see, it's not important on the fast. I generally don't. But if you want a longer full take on that, go watch prolonged intro to prolonged fasting video. It's like, I'm sorry, I'm just tired. I don't want to be annoyed at you, really. But sometimes I get so, like, you repeat yourself so much over and over. And you try to make a video like, yes, now I'll never have to say this again, but you have to. So go browse through the channel, guys. Do you know that almost any questions you have about anything with training and fasting, and that you will be able to find it somewhere on this channel. Invasion Enjoyer. I'm 3 years your senior, but you look so much manlier and mature. I think it's just a mustache. Haha. Yeah, it's probably just a mustache, you know. Probably just a mustache. No, I'm just kidding. The mustache, though, I've never had a mustache. This is the first time in my life I have a mustache, and it's not so good, even. And it's probably gonna go soon. I'm just playing around with it, you know. Doid says, oh lol. The Iron Knight. Have you ever had sternum pain or costochondritis? I don't know how to pronounce it, but no, I haven't really, not seriously. Martin Kowalski. When using iWatch to track calories during lifting, let's say 1 hour workout, 1,000 calories burned. Do I add this 1,000 to my daily calorie surplus goal? So you're bulking, and like, no, but your daily, it's hard. I've got to understand what you're asking here. Like, because if you've calculated your calories for with the surplus, it should be based on what you're currently doing, right? I mean, I'm guessing you haven't based your calorie surplus on your basic BMR as if you were in a coma, you know. I'm guessing you picked it according to your activity levels, and that is included with how much you train. So it's like, it's already included. So if you're in a, but still though, as long as your lifts are going up and your body weight is going up, you observe that trend, that's good, you know. Like, don't overthink it. Like, you know how much you should train, you know what you weigh, how tall you are in that, you use a calculator, you get an answer, you know, you base off of that what you think the calories you should be eating are, and then you observe, is what I want to happen happening? Am I gaining weight? Am my lifts going up? If so, mission accomplished, is being accomplished, you know. Pickle Tarts, hello Mr. Theo, off to sleep, but thank you for the awesome content. Keep it up, brother, we appreciate you. Well, I appreciate you, Pickle Tarts. Dwight says, yeah, anytime I fast, I've eaten tons when breaking it, lol. Yeah, exactly. Why should that be a problem? Bananovi Klobiek, research in China has shown that putting the icicles in a bucket of ice increases natural testosterone 5 times. What do you think about it? I don't believe that whatsoever. I mean, they need to be colder, clearly, in order to work well. Maybe, but this is one of these little, why are people talking about icing their balls, you know? It's like, just go have a proper freaking lifestyle, you know? Like, why? You're not gonna do it anyway. It's like, yeah, I 5 times, like, of course not. I can't believe that. Arlo, Coach Neo, do you have a website or something other than Instagram? I don't have Instagram anymore. Nope, not really. That's the thing in today's day and age. Like, I'll get the website. I had a website, but the people that built it, they were so hard to communicate with, and they did it wrong so many times that I just ended up feeling like this is just like ruined, and they had to give me some money back too. But then it works so well these days, you know. If you do videos like mine, have a personal brand, and you tell people, you can reach out, you can email me or DM me on Instagram, and I'll tell you about what I do, my coaching, I'll show you there. Then people just do. You don't really need a website. Like, not that you can't have use for it, but you see, the things are running smoothly for a lot of people without them. So you can email me if it is coaching you're interested in. That is, I'm sure that is in the description here, right? Yes, it is. Roman Kalinowski, apple cider vinegar, drink before each meal to lose weight. Like you again with your fat burn. It's like, I don't care about this. Like, it might, this much. When you have this much fat to lose, this much it might do. See, I'm not the supplement guy. I'm not the, why are you asking about so uninteresting things? It's like, I'm helping you right now. Anyway, I'm trying to, like, hello, wake up. Stop thinking that you're going to take little pills or shots and that this is what's causing your fat loss. You being in a calorie deficit because you stop eating like a pig, and because you move enough and you have enough muscle mass, that's it, man. Forget all these like little supplements and that. They're not going to be the thing that does it for you. The void. Yeah, that's how I feel about CrossFit too. Kind of annoying, but cool. Bananovic, bro, putting testicles in a bucket of ice increases natural testosterone 5 times. Yeah, you say that again. Framebite, but why eat junk? You can achieve the same thing with just adding more oil. No, but it's not junk. One pizza is not junk. It's like blah 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 blah. It's like, it's because what's sustainable, you know. Like Framebite, it's like, if you've eaten so much of these real foods and you're sick of it, you know, and you're not gaining weight, it's like, can I just get something that's easy to eat on top of all the good food that I'm eating, you know? And I've done these things. I've had times when I have much more time and I eat so much of real food. And, you know, I did OMAD, and I had to sleep after every time I ate because I had to eat so much, you know. But then I had time to use, it's like my job to just try these things and try out. So, you know, even for me, I have to be a little pragmatic with like life. And it's like, okay, do I want to gain weight at the expense of like being unable to move, having to sleep, feeling like crap, you know, or will I throw in a pizza here and there instead? It's like, right? If I like Jason Blaha, I mean, I'm aware that he's some clown that people, you know, he's like a lol cow people think is funny. Sixten Andreasson's strategically eating dime strut right now. That's a ice cream. Leo, shout out from Dallas. Well, I've been to Dallas. Hey, no, you don't lose some when fasting. You don't lose muscle when fasting. You don't lose muscle when fasting. You don't lose muscle when fasting. Another thing, I'm just sick of saying over and over and over. You don't. If you train and eat protein when you don't fast, you don't lose muscle. Look at me. People think I've taken steroids during my 6 years of training. I've done a lot of prolonged fasting, and people think I'm too big to not have been taking steroids. Like, clearly, you don't lose muscle from fasting. Okay. Like, I have to do the video again, apparently, you know. You feel like it's not the people that are asking's fault, but it's like you feel like you have kids and that ask you stuff and never listens. It's like, how many times can I tell you? You know, no, you don't lose muscle. Ramborocki doesn't really have anything to ask, but he wishes me a good summer. Well, tack man, detsamma till dig. Carubus, how to gain muscle without diet and training? I want big muscle, but I'm lazy. Can you do it for me? And well, that's hilarious. Schmerzburst. How long do you sitting in a wheelchair? Ah, okay. So my troll came back, the multi-account guy. I see. J, bro, with the WTF. Now, I'm trying to find the real comments in the chat here. Please, would love to hear your comment on the mindset of the younger generations, Gen Z specifically, hypersexualization, social media influence mindset. Well, I would like to do that too, but it's a little too long right now, and I don't think I have too much left to work through here. I'm trying to end the stream now because we're getting close to 2 hours. But you know what I will say quickly, Gen Z, a lot of Gen Z is still okay. I like a lot of people in Gen Z. But when I would notice one thing, for instance, is just when I was working in a gym and came some people that were like either very late Gen Z or even the next generation. But I thought they were rude first, or like, you know, had a bad attitude. But I realized that they were just weird socially from being brought up on smartphones. And then also this so-called pandemic happening, so you get even more isolated. Like they're so used to being able to socialize, like choosing when to respond and not having to like directly interact with someone like that. So that's one of my like fast things about younger generations, that some of them are freaking strange socially, you know. I'd say this, I've had guys reach out to me, like younger guys, and I had like consultation calls with like 18-year-old guy, and like 18-year-old guys that want to like help me or sell something to me. And it's like they sound a very different way in the chat. I had them on the video call, and it's like, but you wanted to set this call up with me. I feel like I'm leading the call here, you know. Please, is there a difference between monk mode versus being a loner? I prefer spending time by myself or with close friends, but hate going out since I feel like I can't vibe with many people outside of hobbies. Well, you just have to like introspect and be honest with yourself, you know. I also prefer a closer, tighter circle, and I'm rather by myself than with the wrong people, you know. Yeah, it's like you just discern, use discernment. Like, are you isolating yourself, you know, as sort of a coping mechanism, or is it actually, no, this is fine, you know? Framebite, video games are a waste of time. You should feel bad if you play them. Well, I disagree. Like if you do it in the way I said it, it's like I'm just saying when you're sitting playing them all day, every day. But if you play 1 or 2 hours here and there to wind down, I don't think it's an issue. I've done that, especially with friends. But now, it was like a month ago, last time I played something. Still, I think so. Gig Attack, do you have much of an opinion on social media? I know it's part of your job and channel, to be honest, but do you find yourself distracted on it much? Struggle not to waste time on it myself. No, it goes up and down for me. Like when I'm feeling worse in my life, I will just more randomly just consume things on social media. But no, I'm generally, yeah, and I'm also so much in creation mode right now. I don't even consume so much social media. And I would be on it way less also if I didn't work on it. You know, social media, it's one of these things. It's about how you use it. And it can be a great tool to connect with people and to get access to good information, inspirational or educational content, you know. But if you use it in the wrong way, you know, become a... If you see too much of the wrong stuff, you know, will affect you in a bad way. And also dopamine addiction, you know. Nick Day every day. Big Bear says, this will be one. Congrats on 15K. Thank you. Brom, do fast when you go to work for a shift. You have 15 hours. I don't know what you mean, but I've done almost anything you could imagine when long into a fast. I've worked on the like 4th or 5th day, full days, many times. And we work, of course, I do not the struggle, but even back in the, I've done a 48-hour fast many times when I was working in a buffet, like a stressful buffet when you're just serving food. Back when I was running around fasting and serving people food for full shifts, and it's not a problem. It's just great. Now time passes by. I have my great focus from this fasted state, you know. This is mindset, guys. Find the good things about that. Oh, difficult to fast when I go, blah, blah, blah. Oh, perfect. Fast when I work, so time just flies by and I'll be burning even more calories on my fat. You know, can change the narrative. Jay, naturally enhanced by his book, mate. I mean, my book is Uncommon Sense Bodybuilding. I maybe should have a better title. Void, right on, Jay. I was thinking to buy his book too. Anyway, well, yeah, it's going to be helpful for you. Yeah, you asked. Yeah, I didn't talk too much about like mobility. I talk in the book about how to the kind of style I have with my, because you know the book is supposed to. I wanted to focus on the fitness, like the building muscle and losing fat, like kind of thing. And then everything else just as it relates to that. So that's, for instance, I didn't have a section about these objects with the hammers and stuff, or like not a pure mobility section, but I talk about how you can approach hypertrophy and strength training so that you also get better flexibility at the time. It's just that I don't focus on, oh, this is how to improve mobility in this joint or in this joint. I'm like mentioning, you see what I mean? But yeah, the book, what I try to do with the book is for the one that isn't ready for or can't afford full-on coaching, which is always best when you're directly working with a person. The book is supposed to be like coach in the book. Try to give all the kinds of reminders. I'm reconnected, something happened there. But all the kinds of reminders that I have to give myself during my process and I've given to clients, it's like I'm trying to cover everything in the book so that, yeah, the coach in the book. Yeah, and Jay says, don't forget to link the book in all your videos. No, I appreciate that. It's just for some reason with some standard things, I have to update it. When I start a live, a new live, what the description looks like right now is what it looks like, and I had to add the book. So sometimes it's confusing with this too, because I don't even know why it has this as standard. I don't know where I go into it. Sometimes it's like old settings overlap with new. You know, it's like, yeah, if you go back to edit something on an old video for some reason, it will tell you that now this thing about your video will change because it was using an old setting and blah blah. So yeah, but thanks for the reminder, man. We're gonna go back. Okay, I have to come to Sweden, do 3 sets of incline benches on your body, confiscate all the snooze tins and get parliament to ban snooze. See you, bro. Lol. I got advice for how I can have the chat around all the time. Salsaya, man. Yeah, well, you know, thanks, but you know, it works well. It's just until I press the super chat. Thundercuck. Besides going to the gym and building muscle, what other goals should a man have? Well, that's a little bit individual, you know. But, you know, self-expression, self-transcendent, you know. Build them. This is what a goal a man should have. Build the man you admire so that you can give him to the world. you know. And then you might have, some of us have different gifts. I'll just completely make up something now. You're great at, you're great like welder. You build useful things for people. Well, great. So you're a jacked man with good morals and values, a family man, and you also bring these services to people, blah, blah, blah. You know, become the best you. Like, but specifically what your goals should be. That's the thing, man. It's got to be you. Build a man you admire. Find who you should be in this world, you know. Figure out who is that. Act like that. Who is this pianist one? How would you lose 40 kilos? How I would is completely uninteresting, you know, like, because you can't do what I could do anyway. So, and I don't know what situation you are in, so there's just no point in answering that. The frustration of repeating yourself is funny because I feel it so much. Yeah, the same things. Some are better than others. The ones that you can just, because, you know, the things that need an explanation, you know, the things that you can't just say yes and no to, those are annoying when they are repeated. But what that people ask me all the time how tall I am, it's quite easy. Like, yeah, 177 centimeters, you know. But it's like, did you train on your fast? It's like, where do I even begin? My fast, which one? I have, but I don't always. And you don't have to, but you could. Then we go again, you know. All right, happy Thursday, everyone. Brand new says, yeah, happy Thursday. Danny Meese, do you have like-minded male friends that support one another? What do you guys talk about, and how did you meet them, if so? So I have some, but it's also on different levels, you know. Like, I can have one friend that there are many things we share, and certain values and ideas, and we can have interesting philosophical discussions. But then maybe some things he does in his life I don't agree with, and I can't be too involved with him because of this. But this guy I'm talking about now, we've known each other for a very, very, very long time. You know, I have Optiholm, Andreas, that you can find on this channel. Like several people in social media, you know, because when you realize that you're rare and you come across people that you're like, oh shit, this is actually someone that does many of the unusual things I do, you know, reach out. And so via him, I got to know some other people. I'm in gyms. You're literally like cold approaching guys in gyms, or just eventually, I think, having said hi here and there, just start talking. What we talk about, like everything. Like some guys I talk really seriously about training with, some more like that I will share things that I go through, and I had difficulties with my relationship, for instance, you know, or when I have other difficulties and depressed and blah, blah, blah. Talk about business, how to grow on YouTube, and how do you do coaching, this, and I like everything, you know. Growth-oriented conversations. Gordon Gubbe, on a more serious note, maybe physical version of the book. I'm an old school and rather read physical version. Yeah, it's just that the book, honestly, isn't super long. I mean, it would be more pages in a printed book, I realize as I say that, because it's not going to be this A4. It's not going to be as huge. Yeah, you know, I've thought about it, but even the book, like, it might even be, you know, like if I do the physical version, maybe I want, you know, because there's other stuff I could, I mean, I'm thinking about what more. I'm going to want to do the mindset book in the future. It's just that while I'm very happy, and I realize, but like at this point I realize every day, like, this thing, I've come up with so many good things, you know, and I start to think about writing the book. But I realized that when I thought I was ready to write my training book, started 3 years ago, I just realized, no, I'm still learning too much. Of course, I will always keep learning, but yeah, I need to have my school of this finished. Kind of same with the mindset. No, but I just started thinking about physical copies, like maybe when you start doing something, I mean, yeah, it's something to consider. I already thought about that, of course. Josh Craddock, are we related? I don't know what you mean by that. You know what they say, you snooze, you lose. No, they say you snooze, you lose. This is called snooze with an U, not oo. Billy McBilly, agree with Gordon, physical book would be good. Yeah, okay, it's settled, guys. It's settled. But yeah, it's been the plan all along. It was just first getting it out fast. But yeah, of course, I'll even write it down since you mentioned it here. But yeah, guys, I'm going to leave now. We've gone for 2 hours. Thank you for celebrating the 15K subs with me, because you are, of course, part of that 15K. Thanks, you guys. Thanks for everything. I'm enjoying myself a lot now and growing a lot from everything happening and just having a great time. Thanks to you guys. You guys are like, yeah, I've told you before, right? You guys are like the best thing that happened to me lately. So appreciate you guys. Let's keep growing. There will be more videos as always. There will be the Sunday stream, same time as this one, 5 p.m. Central European time. Maybe I find the time to go live on another live before then, but Sunday stream, and I'll see you in videos at the very least. Thank you for today, guys. Peace.